foreign policy, the role of Xerxes in the invasion of Greece. So the off the bat, it's important to kind of consider what is the role that Xerxes plays. What do we actually mean by the word role? And I just realized I didn't put the definition for foreign policy. In a nutshell, it's essentially your approach to how your relationship with other countries and conflicts and stuff like that. So pre-invasion. So Xerxes, again, whilst him and his father and his grandfather like to kind of promote them being this peaceful, harmonious empire, which there is a degree of truth to. There is still an active foreign policy in that each Persian king, there was kind of an expectation that they were going to add to the Persian Empire. So Xerxes kind of goes into this, wanting to add to his father's empire, or the Persian Empire, I should say. So remember, he inherits the invasion of Greece after Darius passes away, but his plans are interrupted by revolts. His three goals for getting into Greece: punishing Athens, extending the empire, personal glory. And we spoke about Xerxes calling that conference with his top advisors, and this is him going over, this is what I'm going to do. And I've created the best strategy in order to do that. So the thing that to remember is here, he took on this role of the supreme commander. Look, we've spoken a lot about the strategy and why he's used it. We've spoken about the preparations needed. I guess it's just also important to note of the diplomatic kind of relations that he made by sending messengers or envoys out to many of the Greek states to essentially submit and not stand against the Persians, which many did, but he did not send these to Athens and Sparta, so he wasn't extending this courtesy to them. He was going in there wishing to to crush them. All right, so in terms of the invasion, and I'm not going to go over every battle, but the Persians have used essentially a fairly successful set of tactics for some time. There were some common tactics used, and successfully, I should add. So generally speaking, superior numbers and crushing your enemy with superior numbers. Archers, you have that many people, you have that many archers. You could use archers very effectively. And the use of cavalry. So we've looked at Thermopylae and Artemisium and Salamis. Don't forget that he takes Athens in that time. Okay. Now he's often portrayed negatively as a commander. Also, let's not forget he's not really, even though he promotes himself as a military leader, he's actually not taking part on the ground against Greece. So he's kind of this observer role. And whilst his strategy is good, it needs a huge amount of work to maintain. And once that strategy is ruined, which it was by the Greeks, and the army and the navy are cut off from each other, it really makes it difficult because you've got such a massive army, such a long way from home. The concern of feeding, getting them water, all of that stuff. That makes things difficult. So, in summing up, again, these are only your main beats, and we will talk more in class about it. But don't forget that the Greek sources are highly exaggerated. It's very likely the Persians didn't see the loss in Greece as humiliating at all. And the empire of Xerxes doesn't collapse. So, he did achieve this revenge in Athens. He doesn't end up controlling all of Greece. He loses Ionia and stuff like that. But he does actually extend. He does actually extend some of his empire, except it just doesn't extend west. We believe it extends east. There are parts of modern day Afghanistan that he potentially moved into as well. Okay, so he does retreat after Salamis with some of his forces despite the play Aeschylus wrote, which kind of portrays him as, just getting away by the skin of his teeth and coming back in with, in rags and all torn to bits. It's not necessarily like that. What he does do is he listens to Mardonius to allow him to stay and try and finish off the Greeks, which we obviously know didn't necessarily end well.